Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another True Carpet episode. This is a special episode, not just because you get to see my beautiful face, but you get to see Moni's beautiful face on this 100th episode of True Carpet.
100. 100.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we made it to 100.
I'm so excited.
You just can't hide it. Yeah. Well, we are gonna take off on this 100th episode with just Moni and I. Unique. I forgot to say my name. That's my name, y'all. Unique. But you can call me Yaya, and her name is Simone, but you can call her
Moni, Mo to the E to the, Simone.
yes, all those things. So, girl, before we get into everything else with this, I was gonna say what this icebreaker has to bring, what this episode has to give for the people. Let us know, what have you been up to? How are you feeling? What are you looking forward to?
Girl, this past week has been stressful. I feel like we've talked about on the show before, just like understanding your body and being aligned with your body and your body letting you know when it's time to rest or when something's not right. And I realized this week was the anniversary of my grandmother's passing. And I was like, Nana, I had a moment. I had to pause. I really had to think, like, find space to myself and, like, just connect with her for a minute. Cause I was like, it's not that clearly my Nana's gone. I have not forgotten about her, but I think
Yeah.
just being in the realization of like how much time had actually passed and to sit in that and just, it kind of took me aback a little bit because I knew I felt off in my body, but I wasn't sure why. And then just realizing that, but also being able to journal about it, have a conversation with her, and just realign myself like with my purpose and everything that I'm doing. Like, I know she'll be proud of me. I know she'll be extremely happy for me. She's smiling down on me. Like, I was just like, you know what? I'm at the right place doing the right thing at the right time? But even though the week may have been stressful, I do have some light from the week. So at my job, we did this thing called a teacher swap where all the teachers taught a different subject for the day to
Mm-hmm.
a different grade level that they're not normally with. So let's say, for example, if I'm a fifth grade teacher, I was probably teaching seventh grade something. Or I'm an eighth grade teacher, I'm probably teaching sixth grade, vice versa. So whatever team you're on, you were teaching another grade level for the day. So I'm on the eighth grade team. I got an opportunity to be on the sixth grade team for the day. And what you teach was basically like some type of life skills class that you wanted to teach the kids. So I decided to teach them like entrepreneurship 101. And I walked them through like what entrepreneurship is, what it looks like to have a business, what Miss Loud does as an entrepreneur outside of being a film teacher. And they ended up creating their own businesses. We mostly just did like what problem are they solving for the students at their school? Like what do kids around your age, usually have issues with and how you're going to solve that problem. Some students had some cute ideas like, let's customize the uniforms. Like maybe I'm going to bedazzle the logo or bedazzle backpack or stuff like that. Another student came up with an idea of like doing conflict resolution between friends and without, having adults involved. And then another one had
Okay, peer mediator.
right? And then another one had an idea to like get more kids outside to explore nature. It was just like it was really, really dope with the ideas that they were coming up with. And then in the end, they came up with their brand name, a slogan, and they made business cards. And I was like,
That's cute.
whoever finishes their business cards, share them with me, and I'll print it out for you. So by Friday, I was able to print it out. And when I gave it to them, the look on their face, it was like, oh my gosh, it looks so nice. So now all the students get to finish theirs. Now they're like, okay, I want to finish mine. I'm gonna send it to you. So that was like truly a highlight of my week because I wasn't sure how students were going to grasp the concept of what it is to be an entrepreneur. But I know students are always like wanting to make custom phone cases and sell snacks and different things. So I just wanted to give them that little tidbit of what it means to like be running their own business. So that was that was
That's
that was the highlight of my week. It was nice. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That makes me remember times in school where we had assignments that would make me so excited, like get me so excited to do them. And like you said, continue to work on them or do another task of that same assignment on my own because it was that much fun and memorable too. As an adult, I can remember certain things that we did in middle school and high school that was a lot of fun. Fun is the theme of today. Fun, fun.
Exactly. So that was fun. Glad they got to experience something different that they wouldn't usually learn on a day-to-day basis. That was a really really dope idea. So what about
Yeah.
you, girl? What about your week? What's happening? What's going on? What's been goody?
Girl, the worst part of this week has been the heat, which is crazy. Like, couldn't we just sparingly have some of the sun so that this weekend wouldn't be so chill and like gray outside and wet? And
I want the sunshine on the weekend, not during the week when I'm looking out the window wanting to be outside.
for me, it's the opposite. I'm outside in the heat, commuting all day. I'm hot. I'm sweating so bad. I want to go back home. Like, and I'm not enjoying it because I'm working and I need water. I have to carry my jug of water with ice so that I can stay cool throughout the day. Because I don't want to do what I did last year, which was keeping cool by spending a lot of money at Starbucks to get a latte and then that added weight, like that oat milk and sugar and everything is not healthy to have every day or several times a day. So yeah, I'm just weather, get it together. Cause it was like, is this summer? Like what is happening? Is it spring still? I'm just confused.
Because not to mention, we just had a thunderstorm the other day that lasted for 2 hours and flooded everything. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
What?
Videos that I saw other people getting off of the bus in New York, I tried so hard not to laugh, but I couldn't help it. It did not look real.
Thunderstorm in the middle of May, in the middle of the week. Like, why do I need a boat to get home? It makes sense. Take a new route because by the time I got off the train, I was like, well, can't walk this way, can't walk that way. Like, what is happening? And it was still like 90 something degrees.
That's one of my greatest fears, getting stuck in the rain like that in New York or anywhere. And just how am I gonna get back home? I have to get home. You can't even get off the bus. I was like, dang, the bus driver couldn't even pull up closer to the curb for them
Right.
to get off
I got
the
off.
bus.
I wouldn't. I'm gonna stay on to the rain stop. I'm not even getting off right here. No, absolutely not.
I'm gonna go back to the terminal with you.
Or you know what? Matter of fact, get off on the front of the bus. Go ahead and let the wheelchair thing out so I could walk over. Why didn't they do that? Get off on the
That's
front
a
of the bus
smart
and get
idea.
off the ramp. That would be the perfect time to use the ramp.
But even still walking after you get off the bus is like the picture you posted with all the rain, you're still gonna be stuck. You need cowboy boots. I mean you need rain boots all the way to your thighs.
I needed to ride horseback through that water. That's what I needed.
The horse would have fell too. The water was knocking people away.
Yeah, but by the time I got home, it stopped raining completely, but it was completely flooded. It was a river on my block.
Guys, stop littering because it has to be the littering, but the pipes and the sewage thingies
Yeah,
being clogged. It has to be that. Like stop littering and then the water will have somewhere to go. Okay? But getting back to how I'm feeling. Other than that, I too felt stressed this week because I knew that I'm gonna be taking time off of work, quote unquote vacation. It's just to get other things done. But aside from that, like having my director say that, okay, I want everybody to catch up with such and such task by the end of the month. I'm like, but I only got one more week this month. How am I going to finish it? And I'm like, I like to have things done, even though I try to stick to having my work life balance, shutting things down at a certain time, focusing on myself. It was hard to do that this week because I had all other assessments to do. I had treatment plans to work on, like all these things. And even though I'm like, okay, you got next, no, I don't have next week technically. And I don't want to really be doing that work stuff while I'm off of that job on that time period. So just trying to manage that was really stressful, to be honest. And I was able to calm down though on Wednesday at 4:30 when I had supervision and my director said she was like, I am ambitious, but I'm also realistic. And I see that with quote unquote extra time that you guys have is not getting done. Because we do a lot. We're visiting our clients, we're doing treatment plans, doing assessments, commuting, like all these different things, taking hospital calls, going to the hospitals. Like it's just so many things that we're doing. By the time we get home, we're already staying up or working past 5 sometimes to get the notes done that I do within 24 hours on a regular. So when do we have time to do all these other things? So thank God for her being realistic and setting a plan moving forward for us to have time to catch up on things. So I'm like, Thank you, God, for that. Which we've been saying, like, we don't have extra time on the daily. You have to give us the time. Give us a time where we're not meeting clients, where we don't have to rush to get these other things done, because it's just we're bombarded with work on a regular, which the entities that are beyond us don't understand.
At
And
least
then,
you advocated. You said something, because had you not said something, what would have happened? Nothing.
yeah, and then also, I've been aware, I will say, since last year. I tried the year before that, but this year I'm doing better. So there was like 2 years ago, I was listening to this YouTube video where the person was saying, if you notice that every spring you feel drained, and every June you feel excited, and every wintertime you fall, you start to feel like your resources as far as finances are all over the place and you feel stressed because of that. You notice that if you don't get a handle on that, it's a cycle every year. So every spring you're gonna feel drained. Every June you're gonna feel excited. Every fall ish you're gonna feel like you're financially don't have things under control. So last year I crashed out. I had a rough time last year around this time, and I just couldn't figure out why. So I just paid attention last year. What happened? The year before that, me and my boyfriend at that time, we broke up. I think it was the year before. Time would be slipping, but we broke up around that time too. And then I reminder, that's around the time my grandma passed away. It's also around the time my great grandfather, my paternal grandmother, my friend that was murdered, my classmate who completed suicide. It's just so many things that happen around this time of year is why I feel emotionally drained, emotionally exhausted. I feel like F life. I don't want to live anymore. So this time of year, I gave a warning to my boyfriend. I was like, okay, we coming around that time where I usually feel I have suicidal ideations. I don't have a plan. I don't want to actually do it, but I feel like mentally drained. Sometimes I feel like I want to quit my job. Like, I gave him the heads up. Like, this is what happens around this time. So if I start to feel weird and it's not my menstrual cycle, this is the reason why. So also too, today, well, actually it's not today, but this is the weekend of when my great grandma passed away. So I'm just like alert and paying attention to those things and allowing myself, if I feel like it's a rest day, just rest. If I want to go hang out with family or do something, just do that. So I guess my theme is awareness, being aware of what I need to do for work, setting boundaries for work, making sure I still have time for myself, and not cutting off family and saying, oh, guys, you can't spend a night or I can't hang out with you because I need to do work. No, I need to live my life. Like I said before, when I pass away, who's going to be at my funeral? I ain't going to be here to open my eyes and see who's there, but like, I know it's gonna be family and friends, not my coworkers. But they're gonna be like, "Oh, condolences," but they ain't gonna come to Jersey to a funeral. They're not gonna be there to. I don't even know if they'll send flowers. They're not gonna, like, I've done that. I've been to coworkers' funeral, like family of coworkers' funerals. I've sent flowers. I've bought gifts, but I never had that in return. So I don't expect that from my coworkers, sadly. But yeah, like family, I need to pour into them, be there with them, spend time with them. So that's what I'm doing this year.
That
That was a long check-in, but
was
that's what I'm up to, y'all.
to recognize that, because I that's not even something that I've thought about before, like around the same time of year, feeling the same type of way. Like, why do I feel overwhelmed or drained? But then when you sit back and you truly think about it, it makes sense. Because I know around this time for the school year, it's back to back to back, week to week, something is happening. Easily can get burnt out before the end of the school year, for the last day of school. Easy. Because always something to do, closing out thing, different field trips, different events, different things to plan, different things to do, back to back to back to back. So it's just, if you truly sit and recognize, what time of the year it is, what things happen around this time of year or have happened around this time of year, you can better prepare yourself, for what could come, have
Yep.
those things set in place for you in order to handle those things a lot better than you have done in the past.
Yeah. Totally.
Period.
So, girl, let's move on to our icebreaker. That definitely felt like an icebreaker, but we have a real icebreaker for y'all. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, y'all. It's time to break the ice on the mic. Okay. Moni and I in this icebreaker. It's our 100th episode.
My goodness. Wow, I'm stunned. I'm shocked. Speechless.
So I would like to know what truth carpet means to you. Why did you take time at least 100 times? Because there's been some episodes. Remember the episode that got deleted? All the recordings that we've done, all the guests that we've had, all the poetry that we shared, all the personal experiences that we poured out into this mic, all the prep work that we do before we get on here, all the money that we spent on a website that we don't have anymore, guys, all the money that we spent on Riverside, on Canva, and we don't get paychecks coming in our mail. So why are you doing this? What does Truth Carpet mean to you, Moni?
I mean, truly thinking back to even when we started, before we even knew what podcasting truly was or what it took to actually have a podcast, starting back in May 2020 on the IG Live with this idea of being able to connect with people and share our poetry because, we had a lot of idle time around that time. But to just think back of how it grew into something so much bigger and so much more important, Truth Carpet is something that has transformed into a platform where we can give other artists or creatives a space to truly put themselves out there, whether it's in regards to their business, their artistry, whether sharing information with other people. I feel like we've been able to create something where people can truly come on here and share their truths, to truly be sharing an experience with us and our audience. It's been a really truly beautiful experience, and the fact that we continue to come back every time because it's something that we truly love and that we truly enjoy. For me, it's more than just sitting here and talking. I think for me it has turned into a space where, yes, I can be myself, but I never saw myself being creative in this manner. I think it continues to help me have a creative touch point
Yeah.
to who I am. Yes, I have my everyday and the things that I do all the time, but this is also sort of a creative outlet, aside from those who come onto the show, but it's a creative outlet for us too. And I truly do enjoy it, even though from time to time, I do look forward to the day I keep saying that I won't have to edit anymore when we get to that point because it takes us so much time, y'all. But seeing the end product and being able to, revamp our show over the years and continuing to come up with different topics. We got 100 episodes and we
Yeah.
still talking. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of work. It's a commitment, but we still here, and getting it done. I truly have enjoyed this experience, and I look forward to seeing how we continue to grow and make it even better.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Truth Carpet for me is holding on to the experience that we had in college. If you haven't heard, True Copper started from Suite 223, a dorm that Moni and I lived in college at Clark Atlanta University. We had this colorful carpet with orange, pink, green, yellow, splashes of color in our dorm room, which was a suite. We lived in a suite. And I don't know why, but our friends like to congregate in mine and Moni's room, and we would talk about certain things all the time: boys, classes, missing family, just different trials and tribulations that's going on in our lives. So at some point, we were like, "Girl, sit on the troop carpet. Let's sit on this carpet." Well, we didn't call it troop carpet at first. Let's sit on the carpet and talk. And all five, six of us, whoever came in the room, we would talk. And then at some point, we called it troop carpet because this is where we talk and leave the truth here, and you can talk openly, honestly, and whatever happens and said on the carpet, it stays on the
Yep.
carpet. So that's why our podcast is called Truth Carpet. And what I like, aside from me, like things that I've taken, is learning about other people, about their careers, about their businesses, and how we see people, how they're portrayed on social media. As an outsider, you think, dang, their life is so beautiful, or they got this so easy, or da da da, like just, whatever assumptions you make of people, or they're making tons of money from doing that. But then having them on Truth Carpet and hearing, yes, I'm an actress, but I also have to have this business with my partner or with my family to keep things afloat. Yes, I am a yes, I started this business of photography, just having fun and taking real videos of people at homecoming and going to basketball games. And now people saw me doing this, and now the WNBA hired me to do this. It's just so amazing, like the things that we've learned about people that we know from college, from our life, like wherever journey we picked them up on, or people that were recommended and it was like, yo, like you're dope. Like I love that you're sharing this and the talents of poetry, hearing people on stage, bringing them on the podcast, hearing them for the first time ever on the podcast. We've gotten a chance to come across and meet so many different talents that are existing in this world.
Mhm.
And then why I love it for me is I did not want to do this at first. I love doing it with my best friend. I love podcasting with her. I like talking with her in general about different things. But honestly, if it wasn't for this podcast, some of the conversations that we talk about, I don't know if it would have ever come up. So it helped to expand the things that we talk about with one another. Why I didn't want to have the podcast is fear of exposure, having to be vulnerable. It's one thing to be like we talked about with Naughty. One thing to be vulnerable as a poet, to put yourself out there, everything, but to come onto this mic, I was so like trying so hard to bite my tongue in certain things because I'm like, I don't want to tell my business and
Mhm.
open up. But after a while, I realized it's the same thing as poetry. My poetry, I feel like I know I shared it because I went to an open mic one time, and the people that had feedback and saying, I went through that too, or I think this will help this person. It's the same thing here, opening up with people who may be able to relate or have experiences or learn things about themselves through what we share on this platform. And other than that, it would be the way that I speak. Remember when I had to put money into the account because my filler words? So things like that. Learning how to take my time. Like sometimes I listen now, I'm like, okay, I need to slow down. I know it's a Jersey thing. The way I speak is so rapid, but sometimes I'll listen back and say, how did anybody know what I said? Because I don't even know what I said when I said what I said. So hearing myself back, hearing the way that I speak, the filler words, I believe. I don't know what you listeners and viewers believe, but I believe since the first season to now, there's been a difference in the way that I speak when communicating with people and sharing on a podcast platform. So that's what I appreciate what from Truth Carpet.
There's definitely been some growth. I've definitely gone back and looked at some episodes from the past and been like, wow, that was a really good topic. Or being like, oh my gosh, look how much we've changed and grown and how our hair has transformed. Or just like the different things that we did as an icebreaker and the different guests that we had on the show, and being able to go back and listen to how the sound was different. We weren't doing video podcasting at first. It was just all sound, and I had to learn how to edit sound. Like it was
Yeah,
just a lot of learning along the way that I appreciate, being able to learn how to do something new, and also continue to continue to build on it. I think it's a beautiful thing in that. Even though there have been moments where we've been like, "Are we still gonna be able to do this? How are we gonna figure
yeah,
this out?" But at the end of the day, we still here. We creating the episodes, and we are officially 100 episodes in, and
burr, burr.
that is something to celebrate. It's really, really, really exciting. It is really exciting to have 100
Yes.
episodes. Mm, yeah.
Yay. So this isn't a question, I guess, for the masses, but if you do want to leave a comment, you can let us know what Truth Carpet means to you. Even though you aren't on this podcast with us, maybe you were a guest before. Maybe you heard some poetry that you resonate with, some topics, whatever. Maybe you like to listen to us when you're commuting, whatever the case may be. What does Truth Carpet mean to you? Let us know in the comments. That will make us happy. Also, please, guys, I know we're not in the announcement segment, but since I'm talking about comments, please leave a review. I've seen some reviews on our Spotify account, and I would love to see more reviews of what you think. Even if it's not like a 5-star rating, if you give us 3 stars, that will help us to grow more, to know, okay, there's some improvement that we can make. Are the episodes too short? Are they too long? Do we laugh too much? I'm not gonna stop laughing, but let us know what you think, okay? Because it's not like it's not scripted to say, yeah, I laugh now. No, this is all real.
Right.
So let us know, y'all.
Absolutely. Woo woo. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and do the thing.
Okay, we're going to now move over to our hot topics segment of our podcast
Yay,
episode.
yay.
Okay, so we are for this episode talking about a topic that Moni found on Instagram.
I'm always
Shout
finding something.
Shout out to Moni. That's my bestie from the Westie. She's doing gestures, y'all. If y'all aren't listening, that's why it's so funny. But this topic is pulled from an IG carousel, which was posted by Yatunde, last name with a letter O. We don't want to mess up your name. And her IG handle is Diva Yeti One. So Diva Yeti YETTY with the number one. And she had a whole carousel of like 17 different relationships that you'll have in your lifetime as a woman. We do understand that not all of our listeners or viewers are not all women or identify as women, but maybe you can resonate too. Maybe these relationships matter to you, or if you think about it as a man to man, whatever the case may be, men to woman, just think about it for yourself. But we chose, I think, five
Mm-hmm.
of the many things that she had, and it's the most important relationship you'll have as a woman. So, you want to take it away, Moni? Start us off.
So, the first one that we are going to discuss is your relationship with your mother. So, what she wrote is whether it was loving, complicated, distant, soft, painful, or a mix of everything at once, this one sets the tone for almost everything that comes after. It shapes how you see womanhood, how you receive and give love, what you normalize, what you resist, what you spend years unlearning, and what you carry forward with gratitude. And I thought that was a very beautiful explanation of how, you can grow in a relationship with your mother despite the type of relationship that you have with your mother.
Yeah. So, for me, I believe, yes, I have aunties, cousins, all those people pour into me, but I could not do this episode without talking about this shaping because all my life, from the womb to now, I've experienced my mom, living with her, hanging out with her, shopping, vacationing, talking to her on the phone, all the things I've been through, all the phases of since I was a little girl, crying because my hair did not look like my mom's, wanting to have a job like mom. Like I literally wanted to embody my mom. I wanted to be her so bad. And then I remember transforming into an age of I can't stand my mom. I wish that Whitney Houston or Beyonce was my mom. Why do I have to live with my mom? Why does she spank me? Why does she do like all these things? And then transforming into, yo, I understand why. Like all the different phases of being a child under the guise of a parent and understanding later in life why my mom did certain things the way that she did, why she handled it the way that she handled it. And I most definitely would not be the woman who I am today if it were not for the shaping of my mom. I remember also too, like after graduating college, moving back home. You know, you go. Well, I went away to college. I spent 4 years outside of my mom's house. The rules, like I took what I learned from home. I knew better. I had sense, but I could like live and do what I want. I don't have to wash dishes when somebody tells me to wash dishes. I don't have to like do all these different things. And then I'm older, so I got to a point where I'm disgusted with my mom. Like I like her, but she get on my nerves. Like I can't stand my mom. And then someone told me that relationship shifts when you move out. Like it's because now you're two women. You're learning your life as a woman opposed to mother, daughter, like grown up child is two women now. So it's also funny. I think I mentioned before knowing the phases that my mom was in life and seeing her go through things is like as I'm getting older, I'm recognizing I like the things that my mom liked. I'm doing the things that my mom did. Even when it comes to my boyfriend, like when I tell him certain things, I'm like, I sound like my mom when she was talking to us or talking to my little brother, like, boy, clean that up. And he's like, I'm gonna clean up after I finish the show. No, clean up now. You're killing me. So, and then I end up laughing because I'm like, I sound just like my mom. But like I said, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am in life if it was not for my mom.
No, absolutely. Like the relationship with my mom, I can honestly say, I think that's the closest relationship that I built in my life. Going through everything that I've gone through, always having my mother there for me. When I need advice, the first person I'm calling, whether it's like, Mom, how many of these am I supposed to take? How many shakes of pepper was I supposed to put in that recipe? I literally still call my mom for everything. Like I'm a grown ass woman, and I still have to call my mom to talk me off of a ledge the other day, just for her to align me with who she knows I am and who I'm meant to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. Like my mom has always been there for me, right, wrong, or indifferent. I know that I can
Hmm.
always rely on my mother to have my back, but always, always tell me the truth. My mother not gonna hold back. Okay, she's gonna give me the real every single time. But it's what I can appreciate. My mama don't sugarcoat nothing. Okay,
Okay.
realizing now as an adult, I'm able to look back and I'm like, dang, I put my mama through some things. And like it makes me think about like, oh Lord, if I have a daughter, I hope and pray that I don't have a similar experience with like the things that I put my mother through because I didn't understand what she was trying to teach me at the time. But then I
Hmm.
also have this perspective of me being an adult now and how our relationship has transformed and the things that I'm able to comfortably talk to her about.
Yes,
She
that's
did
a big one.
because she did such a great job of building the foundation of mother and daughter. Like, of course, she wasn't one of my little friends, but my mama, my friend now. My mama is my friend.
Yeah.
I can have a real, true, deep conversation and be transparent and be vulnerable without feeling as if my mother's going to judge me. She's going to give me the
Hmm.
advice that I need. And I know that I can trust her. If I needed to keep a secret, she's gonna hold on to it. If I need her assistance with something, she gonna be there for me. And as much as I may not want to, I might need to borrow a couple of dollars. I pay it back though, but still, it's like I can rely on my mother to be there for me with anything. And I truly believe that that's my first closest relationship is with my mom.
Yeah, same, same. These. I should let you speak first so I could just say ditto. Because I also, last thing, remember feeling embarrassed and having to coach myself and say something during our car rides, whether I was in middle school, high school, adulthood. And now that comforting person is my mom. Sometimes I still have to say to coach myself through it because of other ears that may be around, or I might start off feeling embarrassed, but it's just like a warm hug when I talk to my mom. So no matter what the conversation is about, dating, she thinks I'm a hypochondriac, but my illness is like everything. I still, no matter what, still bring it to my mom. I fear death when it comes to my mom. Like I know it's one of those things. It's the only thing that's promised in life is death. But I fear what's gonna happen to me if my mom goes first. Like how I might have to go to a psych ward, bro. I can't imagine life without my mom. So that's why I couldn't do this episode talking about like things that shape me without talking about my mom.
Absolutely. Agreed. So the next one on our list is your relationship with the friend you meet in your first year of college. You probably sit next to each other by accident. Same hostel block, same class, same random queue, and something about the proximity of that season turned a coincidence into something that mattered. Of course, right off the rip, I can't talk about this without talking about my best friend, my BFF. Okay, I love telling the story of how we met because it was by chance, literally by chance. We just happened to be in the same orientation group. We were the last
Mhm.
two for the icebreaker, and you won. And then after that, he seems cool. I'm gonna ask her to be my roommate. And the story it wrote itself.
Yeah, and then also like us hanging out in I think it was Beckwith. We were all hanging out and then just saying, which dorm are you gonna live in? You gonna live in the suites? I'm gonna live in the suites too. And we ran over. I think it was the next morning. We went over to the suites and talk about chance, right? Like me being a overthinker and like in what life would I definitely not now find a random person and say, hey, do you want to room with me and trust that? And now look at us, years, 100 years later, still friends, still
Years. Oh, we are not that old.
I know. I couldn't think of the real number, so I just said 100. But years later, still friends, still maneuvering, whether we were long distance, well, whether we were closer, or whatever the case may be, no matter what we're going through in life. And I also want to add our other friends too: Courtney, Priscilla, Kia, Tasha, the boys, like all of us. I feel like even though with them we don't talk every day, we don't see each other every year, but whenever we get together, it feels like no time lapse. Like, it's just something about those friends that you meet in that time of life, like she said in this spiel. It's the friends that you meet where you were your young self and you started to journey towards adulthood. You were more independent in your life, trying to figure out who you are, what you want in life, and all those things. So just something about that phase in life that matters. Like, I think sometimes, like, yo, like, it's crazy how much time has passed since college, and this huddle of friends still means so much to me, and they stand out the most.
No, absolutely.
It's so wow.
Yeah, because I think I like my best relationships. I feel like are the ones where like it's. I don't want to say it's a crazy story of how we met, but like I love telling the story of how we met. Like I met Priscilla because we were trying out for the step team. I met Kia because we had all the same classes together, except the one.
Yeah.
We finally had the one class together, and we started hanging out, and just it the story it wrote itself. Just like I
Mhm.
enjoy like being able to remember how I made these connections with people and how they made an impact on my life, and the fact that they're still a part of my life. It's just it's a beautiful, 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 beautiful journey
Yeah.
to have with the people that I didn't that I the relationship that I built when I didn't know myself, and how they've been able to see me grow and learn, and how we have these different careers now and building families, but we
Mhm.
still know each other who we were then. Like I didn't see us getting here. We knew we would get here. We didn't know how, but like just to see our growth and what we've been able to do with our lives, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I For that I would say I've gotten emotional witnessing some of our friends get married, have kids, get into their careers. And you said you know what happened. I just remember it being just talk. Like Priscilla flossing our teeth, saying she wanted to be a dentist and all those things. And it's like, yo, like, I hear you saying that, but does that really happen for us? Like, is this really real? We're kids, bro. Like, why are you talking about that? And just to see it happen. So I knew you when you didn't have a job, and now you have a whole career. I knew you when you were single. I knew you, like, it's just so beautiful to see things come to fruition and see where things are, and seeing the people that we chose to be our friends, to be our chosen family, have something going on. So even though, like I said before, you have these gaps or we're so distant from each other, but whether you see it on Instagram, they text you, we experience things in person together. It's just, I think that's why it's so emotional to see this journey, because you can have the same thing now. You can meet Tay Tay, and that becomes your friend, and she's like, yeah, girl, I'm about to apply for this job. It's like, yeah, Tay Tay, get it. But then you see Kia, like, I'm about to be a politician. It's like, Kia, like, oh my, like, I don't know. I know why, but I don't have the words to express why. Like, it's not like you love Kia more than Tay Tay, but I knew Kia when she was before she was an adult. And like, look at you now, bro. And Tay Tay, I just met you yesterday. You still cool, but I met you when you were already doing such and such. So I know you had the potential. I already see it when I met this friend. We were just going to parties into the cafeteria together. That's the best way I can explain it.
No, no, no. But I completely understand what you mean.
Thank you, girl.
All right, so the next one. Your relationship with a coworker from a job you no longer work at. You were thrown together by a shared workplace and a shared experience of the same chaotic routine. And something about being in the trenches together turned into something real. And maybe she became a friend. I agree with this. I have had friends at every job, not some that have lasted through years, but I've always been able to be at a job and find somebody that I can connect to, somebody that I can complain with, somebody that I could maybe go to happy hour after work with, somebody that, talk about that show that we watched last night. But I've always had at least one person that I felt like I could trust. And I felt like being in a work environment, having that person is extremely important, because the last thing
Mhm.
that you want to feel in a work environment is feeling like an outsider. And I feel like it's important to be able to find that person that you vibe with.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to be in work environments to have the people, even if it was just for a season, to be able to have that connection with and make the workday just a lot more seamless, a lot easier to get through, especially on the days when you don't even want to show up to work. But I'm showing up to work because of the people that I'm working with, not really the job itself. That is what I can appreciate. Like I still have some people that started off as coworkers, and now we're really, really good friends. We still check in, see how we doing, and it's blossomed into something beautiful. And it's some people I haven't talked to in a year, but if I run into them, it'll still be a genuine conversation of, hey, how you doing, how you been, because the relationship that we built, it was true, it was genuine for
Yeah.
the space that we were working in.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah, that's real. And I'm happy to hear you say that, because one thing that I've always not liked the best is I don't work in the same state that I live in. And I always looked at people who do, and they're able to catch up on, like, do something fun after work and hang out. And for me, I'm always looking forward to getting home, because if I do hang out, by the time I get home, I need to hop in the shower and turn over for the next morning, or my commute is over an hour. So those things have gotten into my head. But I do have, it's like a running theme of mentorship as far as for me. The first job that I had, aside from being a substitute teacher, it was a woman that was either my mom's age or a little bit older, who took me under her wing and like showed me the ropes of how to work at the jail and get through things, and just the funny things that she would do. She bought me not this necklace, but she bought me a necklace. She invited me to her 50 something birthday party at that time. And I just loved her so much. Like she was like my work mother. And then I had pretty much the same thing happen. Like this person, we would close the door to our office. I would cry with her. She'll ask about my boyfriend at the time. And still now, she asks about my current boyfriend. Like when I text her or we text each other, she's sending me recommendations to things. It's just nice to have those connections. So even though I didn't have like a buddy let's hang out situation with the people that I'm naming, I was able to get under their wing and learn something from them and confide in them about personal things, the death of family members, the makeups and breakups with people that I called a significant other, like just all the things that happen in life. I did have people that were my age that we clicked with, but it was a check in with friends, check out. All right, I gotta go home with my family, or I gotta, whatever the case may be. I never really had that experience of wanting to do things. I guess I would say, I guess it's because of the work that I do. Like everyone's just so emotionally and mentally exhausted, or trying to catch up on notes and do things that you just want to relax and go home to your cat after work. But I do know there have been some times where some coworkers will go to a bar after work, and I guess that's where I see it too. I'm not a bar hopper. I'm not a bar person. Are y'all going to brunch on the weekend though, or are y'all going to get dinner? Maybe I can go there, but I don't know. I think my coworkers have done things, but I've never been invited to them, which sucks. And also, recently at this new job, when they did find things to do, I was on vacation. Like the last time they did something, that was when me and you had spa day, and I was like, I'm not going to cancel my best friend to go to a rooftop with y'all on my day off. I'm not doing that. So, yeah, I wish there was like somebody my age or like that likes the things that I do, that we can do those things. But the fun thing is, I do have friends like Trisha met me one time around work time when I could hang out with her. A coworker during our lunchtime, we went shopping at Sephora. Like we got to do some things, but yeah, I'm yapping now. So let's move on to the next one.
Okay. The next one is your relationship with the first situationship that genuinely confused you. So not necessarily the first person you dated, the first one that really got under your skin and stayed there longer than it should have. The one where the lines were blurry and the feelings were disproportionately large, and you spent more time than you like to admit trying to decode what you were to each other.
Yeah,
Definitely been there. Definitely been there.
definitely done that.
No, definitely done that. And I can agree that for me, it's not even my first relationship. I feel like my first relationship was genuinely like my the relationship that I really thought was gonna go somewhere. That wasn't situationship vibe. That was two people growing and learning one another, and it didn't work out in the end. It's just,
Mhm.
we were young, things happened the way that they happened. We learned from it, we grew, and life is what it is now. But I feel like in regards to the first situationship, I feel like that was the first time I was truly left in shock to have somebody play in my face. Like the first time somebody made something seem like it was what it wasn't. The first time going through like somebody making it seem like they want to be with you, but they really don't. So why drag it along and waste all this time to build something that you have no intention of building on? Like you're making it seem as if you're starting this foundation of wanting to be with the person, but in actuality, you just want to be with them for this time, or whether it's you like being around this person for XYZ reasons, or because you're at a certain point in life, you're not actually ready for a relationship, but I want the companionship. I feel like the first time that ever happened to me, it took me to a while to realize my worth again. Like I felt like something was wrong with me because I couldn't understand why it didn't work. Like what could I have done differently? What what was it about how I went about this that it didn't turn out how I thought it was going to be? But at the end of the day, I had to realize it wasn't anything wrong with it with me. Not necessarily. I played a part, but also I had to recognize that the person that I was in this situationship with was in it for reasons that I wasn't. And
Yeah.
it just took me a while to realize that, you know what, it's just time to move on. It's not necessarily anything that I could have done differently. It was an experience that I went through, and now that I've gone through it, I know how I should be treated moving forward in the future. I know what I want when I'm dating someone. Now I know the questions that I should be asking, opposed to the
Yeah.
one that I didn't, because I'm assuming certain things because of the way this person is acting or what they're telling me, and what they're telling me isn't even actually the truth. They're just telling me what I want to hear. So it definitely taught me to navigate dating differently.
Yeah. I had to clap for that because yeah, same. I my connection to this one, the situationship is not the first boyfriend that I had, but two guys that I would say dated after that, and they were doing things that felt like this is a relationship or it's on the brink of being a relationship. And it's just so funny how people flee when, or people at that age, or those guys, I can't say it's everybody, the way that they would flee after I bring up, hey, you may as well be my boyfriend. Like, I'm seeing you often. We talk on the phone every day. One of them, every time I got off of work, he's checking in and saying, oh, did you eat yet? Yeah, I ate. Well, you're going to eat again because I want to go to Applebee's. Or I want to go here. Or I want to, like, he would just want to be around me. And it felt so good. But when you bring up relationship or boyfriend, girlfriend, you flee. And that's so hurtful, too. Like, that one, he ghosted. And then I couldn't get in touch with him. So the same questions: what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough to be your girlfriend? I'm good enough for you to hang out with, to talk with, like to do these things, to be seen with. But when it comes to calling it what it is, you don't want to do the same thing. Like it's just different. And then the other person, actually, the first time I ghosted him, I ain't gonna hold you. But later, later on in life, when I circled back and we were hanging out, because when I think about the first time, he wouldn't call it boyfriend girlfriend either, and I wasn't calling it that. And I remember we were very young, so my brother walked in. He was like, "So." We were watching TV. It's not like he walked in on us doing nothing. We walked in, we were watching TV. And then my brother was like, "So what's going on? What are you guys doing?" And then the guy was like, "Oh, we're just seeing how things go." And that question, when my brother asked that, that opened up. Like, why are we just seeing where it goes? Like, why aren't we calling it what it is? Me and this guy hung out more than the other guy. He like initiated things, but he was kind of a bum. Like I didn't like how he always asked me for money, like, "Oh, you got $5? I'm hungry." Or like I hated that so much. I liked him, but he just didn't really have things going for himself. And then later on in life, when we reconnected, I thought it was gonna be like we reconnected because, familiarity, hanging out, somebody that not gonna add to your list, if you get what I'm saying. So then I wanted to call it what it is. Like we're just hanging out. We just hang out, and you don't want to call it that, but you don't want to call us significant others either. And then that's when I was like, okay, I got to go because I'm not trying to do this lapse that I did with the other person before. I like you don't want to call it what it is. You don't want to call us friends with benefits. You don't want to call it anything. Like what's going on here? I have to leave. Explanations, titles, those things matter to me. So if it doesn't matter to you and you just want to talk to me when you want to talk to me, that's not what's going to happen here. So those blurred lines have to be erased or more like clear of what's happening.
Yeah.
I can't be in a situation where I don't understand what's going on or I'm asking myself questions. And I hope that the lessons that I've learned, that when I have my daughter, that she can learn from my lessons. And she's gonna go through her own stuff too. But I hope to have a relationship with my daughter that I am not 100% clear of like every single thing that I've gone through, but just lessons that I can take from my life so that she doesn't have to make those same, I wouldn't say mistakes, but she doesn't have to go through those journeys that I went through and can have a smoother path.
No, absolutely. I agree. Just like letting her understand like what she's thinking may not always necessarily be true in regards to how we were thinking and what we've done wrong or what we could have done differently or thinking as if something is wrong with us when,
Yeah,
there's two sides to every coin. And there are a lot of situations that a lot of women end up in where it seems that things are going well because the man that you are dating or the person that you are dating is literally telling you what you want to hear, making everything seem like is cute and cozy and we're going to do these things and
yeah,
spending a life together and trips and vacations and meeting families. And at the end of the day, you just flip a switch. Like as if
yeah,
things that we discussed and we talked about, now I'm crazy because this was never something that you made it seem like it was real. And now all of a sudden you changed your mind. Feel free to change your mind.
yeah,
Don't make it seem as if you didn't make it seem as if this was going further than what it was.
yeah. And I want to just add that the reason why I say the conversation with my daughter is because I didn't have that from my mom. Everything that I had from my mom was like the first thing was I couldn't have a boyfriend. So I snuck and had my little church boyfriend that I had. And then my mom found out. I thought I was going to get in trouble, but I didn't. And then after that, what we talked about earlier, stepping on eggshells to have conversations with my mom. All I could think is my mom told me I couldn't have a boyfriend. So now I'm scared to talk about dating, talk about things like that. Because even one time, I wrote my mom a letter for Christmas to ask her if I could have a boyfriend, but I was
You
scared.
wanted a boyfriend for Christmas?
Yeah, like, hey, mom, can I have a boyfriend now? And then she saw me like getting it from under the tree and like trying to hide it. And she was like, "What is that?" And then I wouldn't tell her. And then I ended up telling her, and she's like, "No, you can't have one." So that taught me to hide things from my mom. But then when I did become sexually active later on in life and like started to date, that's when she would like from a learning after something happened to me, then I told her because I had to, then she would like try to tell me things. But it's like I appreciate you telling me, but I wish we would have had these conversations before. I wish I wasn't afraid to talk with you. I wish you would have felt like it's okay to talk to your daughter about your life experiences and dating experiences and everything. Like, granted, what you went through is not going to be the same thing that I went through, but why am I hiding? Why don't I feel safe to talk to anybody about the way that people treated me? Why do I feel embarrassed? Like all those things. So I don't want my daughter to feel like she has to hide, to feel like she has to be afraid to talk with me about things. Go through, have your little middle school boyfriend so you can understand how it is to date and have a boyfriend and then feel like you don't have to go through the things that I went through. Learn it early. Have your first heartbreak early, girl.
Okay, the next one is your relationship with the moolah, the money. This one quietly affects your confidence, choices, relationship standards, and freedom. Women who constantly live in survival mode experience live differently from women who feel financially safe. Sounds like my early 20s.
Yeah, girl.
It does. Trying to get an understanding of what it means to have the skills to understand my finances was hard because I feel like I was never truly taught about what it meant to, have money for a rainy day and a savings account and how to use a credit card. Yes, I had a credit card, but I don't think I ever truly got a lesson on what like an interest rate was and then what it looked like paying loans back after college and then like having or even having the understanding of what it looks like the reality of, yes, I have a job, but the job I have isn't supplementing the bills that I have. How am I supposed to survive?
Girl, are we in church?
I feel like I learned through my life experiences. Like it wasn't, I don't ever feel like I was ever extremely irresponsible. Like, yes, there's been some moments where I could have saved $1 here or two, but I saw a pair of shoes. Oh, it was on sale. It was $30. I could have put that money.
I remember Just Fab.
Yes,
She was coming in every month.
that's what I'm saying because it was what, $29.95 at the time a month for the shoes. So it was like, oh, I'm getting a deal. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
I have had irresponsible moments, but I never had a moment where I didn't take care of my needs first. So if I had my own apartment, I always make sure my rent was paid first. If I needed
Yeah.
internet because I'm working from home, I always make sure I paid the internet. I paid my phone bill because I needed it to drive Lyft. Like it was just certain things, like certain bills. I was like, I might skate on this one because I kind of don't need that much. I'm a pass on the Netflix and the da 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 and all the other streaming services because
Yeah.
now that's not something I can afford. So I've always found a way to try to best transition my finances to be more responsible. But at the same time, it was also a matter of I need to make more money. I need to make more
Yeah.
money. How can I make sure that I'm not living outside of my means, but my bills are costing me more than what I'm making, especially when it was time back to pay student loans and they don't care.
So
Borrow money from somebody. I'm like, you literally just went through this entire process for me to figure out a plan for me, ask me my financial income and what my bills are, and then you tell me, hey, you're actually not making enough money to pay this bill back. Can you call somebody? Are you kidding me? How about you just make it so I'm paying $0 a month until I can't afford it? How about that?
right. Can I get you $5?
Yo, so I'm like, right now I can
They
say like
want
my
a
relationship
car note worth of money.
like right now I can say like my relationship with money is a lot better than it used to be, but I think it also has to do with, aside from the fact that I am better equipped when it comes to saving money and putting money to the side and paying my bills first and having a plan, but I think it
Mhm.
also has to do with my understanding of having different types of savings and maybe more than one checking account and being able to save for specific things. I didn't learn these things. I'm literally learning these things as I go. And I wish that I was able to have these lessons growing up. But I'm also wondering, did my parents have these financial conversations growing up or did they learn as they were going along too? So it's just a matter of like now being better equipped with information and knowing what to do better because I'm blessed with the income that I'm having now and being able to save for vacations and being able to, have a little extra money to have fun without to having to dip. So, getting better, not perfect. I still feel like I have a long way to go with being financially responsible, but I'm most
Mhm.
definitely more equipped than I was in my 20s. It was bad.
Yeah. I would say for me, I've never had it bad. I thank God for my mom because I was able to stay with her a long time and until I felt comfortable leaving the nest. So with me staying with my mom, I was able to save a lot of money. My struggle was coming out of college thinking that I'm gonna have this American dream, be able to save money for a couple years and then like ball out. But my first job paid me scraps. I'm not even joking. Like if I said the number, you guys would be like, "Girl, were you volunteering?" Like it's so bad how much money I made. And then I remember asking asking my brother, asking people that I trusted, how much money should I be making out of college? But now I'm realizing, yes, trust my brother, trust the people that I spoke with, but I know now that every career makes different, like the expectation of what you should make is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll never forget that conversation during my after our interview when they're telling me how much I will make, and I told them what the number is that my brother told me, and they laughed and they said, "Ha ha ha! You work in social work, so you're not gonna make that much money or whatever." And I'm like, "But how can I afford rent?" At that time, it was rent I was trying to pay like $800 for. How can I afford the $800 plus pay my private loans, plus pay my federal loans, plus pay these other bills that I had, plus my car stuff. Even though I'm still living at home, my bills are over $1,000 a month. And I'm supposed to pay rent. I can't leave here. I can't leave this nest. I can't afford to do that. So yes, I'm working and everything looks pretty on the outside, but I cannot afford to live. Even if I did pay the rent, what am I going to eat? How am I going to get gas in my car? Like, it was no way that I was going to be able to do that. And I didn't trust to speak with anybody because, unfortunately, I don't know if it's still this way now, but people don't talk about their salaries. And maybe it's a competition thing because you find out you and your coworker got the same title, but somebody's making $5 more, whatever the case may be. Then it's an argument, and now you lose your money because you open your mouth. I don't know what it is. Why don't people talk about their income? So for me, I had to, because I can't ask my mom. She, like, nobody has the same career that I have. So who do I talk to? So I took it upon myself to do a lot of Google searching to understand how I should split up my funds, how I should break it down. 50% goes there, 24% goes there, this percent goes there. The savings accounts and things like that, I learned it because I learned it by mistake. So when I got my new job, they had a bank there that was offering an account for free as long as you have X amount of money going into the account, like a direct deposit. So I remember for years I would be complaining like, why am I only getting $1,000 in my account? Like, what the heck is going on? I ain't got no money. And then I remembered that I had this bank account, and I looked and I was like, whoa, like so much money that I saved without knowing. So that's, I grew to love that. Like, okay, this account I always pay attention to. So this is my halved account. Like, I even nicknamed it my two half and two spend account. Then my other one is not even in my mind. Like, that's my rainy day, that's my concert, like whatever. So I agree with you having those different accounts. And then the last thing is credit cards. I was so scared of having credit cards, not from my experience, but from what I heard of other people. You don't want to have credit cards, the percentage rate, all these things, da, da, da. You'll be in over your head. But my mom got me to sign up for a credit card during the second semester of freshman year or something like that. And I told her I don't want to have it. And she was like, no, you want to start building your credit now. So when you're ready to get a house and a car, blah, blah, blah. That's the only, if I had any financial lesson from family and friends, that's the only one I ever had. So I was getting my hair done. You know how much it gets to cost to get your hair done in Atlanta? I was going out to eat.
Credit card for?
Yes, I was using my credit card to get my hair done. I ain't had no job. I was getting my hair done. I was going out to the sushi places with you and Jaslyn. I was getting outfits, my nails done, everything. And then I could not afford the payments. And then my mom was like, well, as long as you're making the minimum payment, you're okay. But I don't like owing people nothing. Like, that's one thing I learned early about myself. I do not like owing people anything. I try my best to pay my credit card limit a little bit more each month so I don't have the interest rate and everything. But once I got out of that credit card debt, I was afraid to use that card. I was so afraid to use that card. So, just like my relationship with money is way healthier now. But I do know, like, people complain about living paycheck to paycheck. It's not about how much you make. You can make billions of dollars, but if you are always spending more than what you're making, you're always going to live that life. I just can't wait to get done with this student loan debt. That's my
Girl.
largest debt. And I'm just not excited that it's about to start back again. And I don't want to go on forbearance because I'm on PSLF, so I want to be forgiven, and I won't be forgiven if I don't make any payments. So I'm just really nervous about once that kicks in because it's more than what I was paying on my car note. That's how much money they want back from me a month. So hopefully I can get somebody on the phone to help me figure that out. But it's not perfect. My relationship with money is not perfect. Sometimes I have that, every year go through that thing of I'm not making enough money, but I don't want to make too much because I have income based payments. So if I make more, I'm gonna have to give Tally Mae more. Oh my God, it's a struggle. But yeah, I do well with money. I have a great credit score. So
Period.
yeah, so I do well with that. But a lot of times it's like, but can I afford to be a mom?
Mm-hmm.
Can I afford? Should I be going on these vacations? That's why, like, a lot of times when you or other friends say things about trips and stuff, I'm like, I would love to go, but I'm trying to get my accounts back up. I'm trying to recuperate the money that I lost when I had to buy furniture and things for myself. Like, because I didn't use credit, I used my money. So I'm trying to get my money back. I don't want to go on vacation and then feel like I can't vacation the way I want to because I don't really have it like I used to.
No, that makes sense. That's a part of life. That's part of the journey.
Yeah. I want to journey to Costa Rica.
All right,
I'm being responsible.
last one. And we're going to close this out. Perfect way to end it. All right. So, your relationship with your present self. The way you treat yourself right now affects everything more than you realize. How you speak to yourself, how you carry yourself, how you take care of your body, how you comfort yourself after hard days, how you reward yourself, how you allow people to treat you. All of it slowly shapes the quality of your life. When you genuinely start caring for yourself, it changes how you move through the world. You become softer with yourself and more honest about what you deserve.
Yes.
I feel like it's a culmination of all the things that we discussed, from the finances to the relationship with our mothers to the situationships. Like everything up until this point has helped shape who we are as women, our friendships. Like I think ultimately our relationship with ourselves is the biggest one, because we have to truly be there for ourselves. We have to find ways to fill our cup before we can even pour into others. We have to understand how to get our mental stability in check. We have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, socially, financially. We have to make sure that we are making time for rest. We have to make sure that we're listening to our bodies. We have to make sure that, you know, we are being responsible, that we are paying our bills on time, that we're going to work to make money to pay those bills on time. We have to.
Girl, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, I gotta pay rent, but it's not rent time yet.
Girl, see what I'm saying? It's all about checking in with ourselves, being responsible with ourselves, being realistic with ourselves, making sure that we have a plan for ourselves, the rainy day fund for ourselves, because we're the ones that's gonna be dealing with ourselves at the end of the day. And if we don't have ourselves in check, if we're not aligned with what we want to do, then we have to figure out how we're going to change based on how our life is shifting. I think it's important to make sure that we are speaking to ourselves in a way that allows us to move through life with as positive of a vibe as possible. Like, yes, things are going to happen, negative things are going to occur, but at the end of the day, I have the power to shape my reality. I'm the one that can
Yeah.
tell myself, yes, this thing happened, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to make sure that I have the things that I need in order to survive in this crazy ass world. Like, it's just, life is not perfect. We are not perfect, and I don't think anything is destined to ever be perfect, but it's a matter of navigating along this journey and figuring out what works best for us. How can we continue to shape the quality of our life? It's important for us to understand how to do that, especially in moments where we feel like we can't. How are we going to get out of that? Especially like when you were talking about earlier, those moments, those times a year when we know that, you know, we're going to feel a certain type of way because of things that have happened in our life. How are we going to get ourselves ready for that? You know, whether that's through journaling, meditation, taking a walk, knowing the people to talk to, knowing how to speak to ourselves, looking ourselves in the mirror and having a conversation. What are we going to do to make sure that we are doing what we need to do for us?
Hmm.
Yes.
Thank you, Sister Loud. Thank you for that testimony.
Amen.
100% agree. Ditto to everything that you said. What I wanted to add is the times that I beat myself up, not physically, but emotionally, because I was just so drained. Like, why am I so tired? Comparing myself to other women who have more energy than me, or why am I so upset right now? Why am I so combative? Why am I so, like, just all the things? And I am at a point in my life where people didn't teach me about all the cycles that women go through for your menstrual cycle. I just knew. regular degular, yaya, and menstrual cycle. But why am I snapping on my mom right now? Why am I so mad at Moni or my boyfriend right now? Why do I hate life right now at this time of the year? Why am I have this I have more money than I had before. Why do I feel like I don't have enough? Like my bills are paid. I'm eating, I'm taking care of, like, why am I so upset, drained, whatever? So I love my present self because of the education that I have learned. And thank God for Trisha, my friend who is a nurse. Thank God for Ronald, who's Dr. Love for the psych field. Thank God for Priscilla for the times that I thought something was going on with my tooth and I had sent her pictures of my teeth. Like for basically like my network of friends who were my college friends or life friends and have so much education to be able to teach me, because the reason why I said Trisha first was that's how I learned about all the cycles that we have. And I brought it up on the podcast before about that dang on luteal phase. And thank God for my boyfriend too for pointing out, like, you were snappy yesterday. And then I look at my app and I say, oh, it's because of this going on. My bad. That wasn't totally me, but thanks for making me aware so then I can learn what foods to eat, what things to avoid. Even the month that I took off and said, let me just step back from sugar, because I noticed every time I get to that front door, I'm like, chocolate, where's the chocolate? Like, I'm like, I don't do drugs and stuff, but chocolate is my drug. Lattes, all that stuff, the sugar, that's my drug. And let me take a step back. When I did take a step back, I noticed my sleep was better, my attitude was better. I was able to wake up and smile for work, like, be happy to start my day, have a true slow morning opposed to let me decompress and compare. I can't speak.
Are you right?
Compare prepare myself for my day. So I'm learning to just have better awareness, learning that just because we're the same age, just because we're the same gender, just because, all the just because, that doesn't mean that if I'm going through something, something's wrong with me or vice versa. Like, I don't need to be exactly how you are. Or every 10 years, like, it's okay to gain weight or whatever. Like, I notice that's happening. My body is changing. I'm changing. I'm becoming, you know?
Yes,
So,
becoming, darling. Yes.
yes. So, it is a journey every day. Like sometimes I'm not going to love myself every day, and that's okay. But I'm grateful for the connections, the friends and family that I have, so I can talk about, or you guys can remind me who I am and get me back on a good foot. So being my present self is living in the present and not being so anxious about the future or depressed about the past, which, ebbs and flows, things are going to happen, but try to be more present than I am not. And that wraps it up for me.
And I think that wraps it up for us on the 100th episode of Truth Carpet.
I bet.
This was a really great conversation. I was glad you were able to have it. And I appreciate the posts from Diva Yeti One. Some of these things I would have never even thought about without
Right.
seeing the posts, as far as like these relationships that help shape who I am. And I'm like, yo, this is true. Like, if you really think about it and the journey through your life and the people that you meet,
Hmm.
mind you, this was just a little tidbit of the relationship that we chose from her post. We didn't even talk about all of them, y'all. So y'all should go and follow at Diva Yeti One. She has a lot of very interesting posts that I feel like a lot of people will be able to connect with. But this was one that really stood out to me, and I wanted to have a conversation about it.
Yes. For sure. I'm glad that we had this conversation too. Wow, 100th episode. 101 is coming back in 2 weeks, y'all. But I want to say thank you to not just Moni, but everybody who listens to our podcast, everybody who's been on our podcast, everyone who give us compliments, comments, all those things that gets us going. So shout out to y'all and all that you've poured into our podcast. And if Moni doesn't have anything else to say,
I do not.
we can go ahead and close out. We will be back in y'all ear in 2 more weeks, y'all. Stay black.
Stay proud.
Bye, y'all.